So Rich is one of my students, been in the class, I think about three and a half years. Did very well right off the start. Made between $100,000 and $150,000 on his first piece of land, $250,000 on the next one roughly, and then about $800,000 on the next. He rolled those profits, that $1 million he made, into 2 commercial properties, little buildings, and an industrial building. And so he made about $1.7 million at that point. And I had interviewed him already before. Well, today, here we are. He just made another deal. And this is kind of consistent with the students in the class. Every deal, they make more money each time. It's just like a big, heavy cart. Get it rolling, hard to stop. And what he's done is he just got another building, two actually beautiful centers side by side from the same owner. And, this is a property he bought for about $2.6 million that's worth, as it sits right now, about $5 million, maybe 5.5. And once he puts some money in it, this could be a legacy property worth, $7 to $10 million in the future. But, and actually, this is the first part of his property. That he got all that, and now we're popping into this corner, and we'll see where Rich is. Hey, all right. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
So this is Rich, one of my earliest students, and also one of my most successful. He's already been interviewed, got his first baby, and he's already a millionaire in real estate, multi-millionaire now, multi-millionaire here. Very good. He's going to make, just conservatively, right? I always look at things conservative, but this piece of property, plus he got the one next to it, conservatively, he's made $3 million. And legacy-wise and longer, it'll be worth much, much more in the future. So let's get him mic'd up. We'll take a walk. So anyways, yeah, go ahead.
So what I'm doing right now is just trying to clean up. Beforehand, like this was all just, no one was taking care of all the landscaping. So I cut all the landscaping back, and especially the trees over there, they're blocking all the signs of the tenants. So just trying to make the letter sign boxes as visible as possible. Cool. And then I had someone come over here. We brushed out we got rid of all the junk that was down here. We're going to put a layer of weed killer, or the mat, weed and then put some new shrubs down here and new black mulch.
Yep. So I'll tell you something else that's kind of cool. So let's take a look at a couple of things here, just a couple of observations. So see here on these steps are way too shallow, right? And so these should be like 7.5 inch. There should be like 3 steps. Our total with 4. We got 22, so divided by 7.5 should be 3 steps. But take a look here. Now look over here. These ones, you can see, these ones are what you would be, are more to code, right? So just little things like this, that they should be equal. They should all be about 7. See that 7.5, good, then that. So it throws people off. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been on the steps that are different?
Yeah, it's kind of like
so it's kind of like, then it's like, oh, right. Shit, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or coming down the other way, it's like little step, then it's like, whoa. So things like that. I'd pour concrete if it comes down to it when you do it. But so these are just little things, and that we can talk about walking through here.
Yeah.
What color did you decide you're going to paint this place?
It's going to be like a tan. It's over there on the edge. I have some samples over there on the ground.
The metal you're going to paint like a tan?
Yeah, so all the boardwalk's going to be like a neutral tan, and then it's going to be a slightly, on the stucco, it's going to be still like a little bit lighter white.
I'll show you something. I don't know if I do the white, to be quite honest, but what I like to do on this stuff is, and it's looking better all the time, just the more I keep doing it. You might want to just consider paint the roof tan and then take the trim and match the bronze on the windows.
Okay.
Looks pretty sharp. I'll show you. I just painted a center yesterday.
All right, bronze. Okay.
Yeah, it just kind of ties them together and it's right.
Okay.
And then you can paint your pole and your signage the same to match the trim.
Okay.
And it just makes everything kind of pop. I'll show you what I got. But like he said, even painting the around the sign, see up there. I don't even know if that's a viable sign still. But you paint around that. Maybe split the cost with your tenants to replace the plastic, just to make that sign look brand new.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. But man, really looks good. He's got these extra light posts and things. All this stuff is really, really is good. The more light, the better. These are nice decorative lights that he's got here.
Yeah, I was gonna think about just replacing them and just putting spotlights.
Yeah, I would do these wall packs. They got this, the LED wall packs are like this, and they're kind of low profile. I can show you some we're just replacing on another center that I got as well. But at first glance, like I say, everything he's doing is right. When you come in, you want to demonstrate to the people that are already here that you might be raising rents on that I'm a landlord that's proactive. I'm going to fix this place up, make it look better. And the quicker you give it a paint job and, maybe black the lot and restripe it, makes everything look brand new. It's like framing a picture. And it doesn't matter that you didn't do anything inside. It just looks better. And you know that, and I know you're about to apply that. But the steps are something I might consider just pour concrete steps. Make them right. They look rough. I don't know if I'd replace them with the same, but certainly you can see, you got like a 4-inch step up on each one of these, 4 to 4.5, it looks like. And then over here, that's more closer to code. But again, even there a little bit.
So they need to be 7 inches.
About 7 1/4, like 7 3/4.
Okay.
And then you just kind of do the math, and you got to do what you got to do to get there. And even if you got to.
And would you do like a metal handrail then with the concrete, or just keep it wood?
You could, and since you're doing the concrete, we have what we call an embed. And if you do an embed on these, they have embeds that are about the size of this tape. They have a single, looks like a big fat nail head, like a railroad spike coming down. When you get a handrail, especially on these, better off to go for like a 6-inch that's got 2 to 4. Much, much more stable. Otherwise, somebody hits it hard, then it cracks the slab below if there's not enough concrete in it. So, but yeah, and it's friendlier. Like this here, just here on that point that he's talking about, what we call this here, we call this a purse catcher. It's not a good thing because an old lady comes up here and she's got a purse and she's stepping in. The purse, kind of comes to the outside and then up here, takes her back down the steps. So something like this, you want to just cut this off flush. This is terrible anyway.
Yeah.
See, I'd replace it. And maybe just, since you're pouring this, they can pour this new too. And then they could get the steps exactly right and they could ramp the rest right here.
Okay.
And so you could do that here. You can do that on the other one. Now, you can see they have this here, if you're going to do it, maybe just do them all. But like on this here, the same thing. What you would do is, this is actually not terrible. This can still be a little bit of a catch. But generally what we do is we come out and we kind of do a half circle that comes down like this. So, but this is fine. Or it can be just, a big radius so that when they go to grab it, it doesn't catch the purse. That's the main thing. So,
and then re-pour that.
Again, these steps are all different everywhere. The steps he's pointing to look a lot like these, just like that. They're shallow. So I'm wondering why they didn't pour concrete in the beginning. It makes me think there might be some sewer cleanouts and stuff like that are under the deck. So you can't just cover it up. You know what I mean? So, but it's okay. It looks good. Maybe this lattice could be replaced with powder coated steel mesh. You know what I mean? Then you never have to worry about it again. So I don't know. I don't want to give you too much to think about working wise. Just right now, the main thing is get it filled, get the cash flow. And he got it so cheap that, this thing's going to cash flow very, very quickly. And it already does on day one. In fact, when Rich reached back to me and was first getting this, he said, man, he goes, how nice to have an appraisal come out over and above what you're purchasing it for.
Yeah.
So,
it's also helpful because I got money back from the bank to do the improvements. So.
Yeah, he put a significant amount. He rolled basically the $1 million plus that he made on the last 2 deals into the purchase of this, and he's got a beautiful property next door that came with it. So this is I'm telling you what, this is a major grand slam, right? It's a major grand slam. When he first bought it, he sounded a little bit equivocating whether he was going to keep it. I'm saying, hey, I'll take it over. I'll buy it from you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he's doing the right thing. He's making it happen for himself, and that's the smartest thing you can do, because this is a really good one. This is a really good one.
If you want, I could take you down to this suite first.
We'll just go anywhere you want, Rich. Oh man, look at that.
Yeah, it's a step. I just tripped over it. Yeah.
I just caught that right there. So shit like that, you definitely want to fix.
Do you know at any are there any of these boards that stand out that you would just replace, or
I would fix everything, you know.
Besides like using screws to screw them in, would you just replace the boards?
I would. But you can sometimes what you can do when you got a board like this, something like this. I mean, in all honesty, you can just pick it up, turn it over, and put the high side down, and then screw everything down, and it'll be flat again. It's warping up. So if it's warping up, just pop it, turn it over, and that way the wood's consistent with the rest of it instead of a piece of redwood standing out or whatever.
Okay.
But because you're going to end up painting this anyways. But
yeah, I just wasn't sure like which boards to replace, what needs to be replaced, or
yeah. In all honesty, when I put down decking like this, I use concealed nails, and so what happens is we nail this thing with, it's kind of like a finished nail, but with a big head on it, not as big as this. But what happens is we come down and we shoot it this way. It's like just below this radius, puts it in. Below the radius, puts it in. That way it's clean and smooth on top. The reason is whenever you get a nail that breaks the surface, and it'll happen on siding and everything else, you really, when you're nailing on siding, like that's about how you want your nail. About like that. Yeah, about like that. You don't want it to break the surface, but especially on decking, what happens is when they pound it in or they sink a screw too deep, they're breaking all the fiber of the wood and they're making a little puddle that's going to fill with water, and then that's going to be the beginning of the rot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's already done. That's how this whole thing is. So the next best thing is, like I say, just fix it, paint it, seal it. You know what I mean? If you got the nails that are coming out from just heat and moving, pull them out and replace it with a screw.
Okay.
A deck screw that won't rust, obviously.
Thank you about it.
All right. So now this is a restaurant that is gone or went out of business. Or that.
I have a bar owner that wants to rent the space.
Wow. Yeah, this is a really nice spot. Look at this. This is pretty. It's already got all the improvements, got the lighting. I could see this being a billiards place. You could load this with pool tables, a nice bar. It's already got a stage. Yeah, this is really, really nice. Yeah. You even got a little, salad bar.
Yeah,
what
salad
could
bar.
end up being a DJ.
It's like, that's where they had, like your hot and ready if you wanted to just like a tip, like you wanted to serve food. That was it called? Like, take us what you want.
They call it a steam table, but cafeteria style, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is perfect, man. Like you say, a bar could move right in here, and all he'd have to do is...
Yeah, the bar that's like 2 streets down that is interested in renting that out, he might stop by here in a few minutes to come check it out.
Very cool. Yeah.
But this is a big space. If you come over here, you can see how big the kitchen area is.
Yeah, it's got a nice kitchen. You can see from here. Yeah, all these improvements are big. Costs a lot of money to install a hood this size. This is enormous. Yeah, this is an enormous.
So the story behind this is when I closed, the person that was selling me the property didn't tell me that this person was behind on rent.
Right.
So I just showed up and they were taking down their sign. I was like, hey, what are you guys doing? I was like, oh, we're moving all our stuff out. I was like, okay. So I could have either delayed the closing and have them kick them out, or I would kick them out, which all it was like, hey, you can take this or not. And when I showed up, they were trying to take all this equipment out when I showed up. And so it's a little, just a little bit of an altercation with them about trying to take things that they weren't authorized to take.
Yeah, and when that happens, when you got that, you don't have to give them shit.
Mm-hmm.
They owe you money.
Mm-hmm.
They owe you money. Now, there are some exceptions to it. Like it was probably here, the dishwashers are generally a piece of leased equipment, so they don't own it anyways. a company comes in there, they give you a dishwasher and they service it. They give you the soap and the whatever, all this stuff for it. So you let them have that because that's not theirs anyways.
Yeah.
But if they owe you money, the stove's yours, and that's a decent gas stove. Just looks like just another. I guess not sure what this is, big steam table. I guess. It's interesting. Looks like it holds a lot of hot waters. But yeah, this is all great stuff. I mean, all this is relevant to have in the kitchen. And, ideally the compressor for this thing works.
I just turned it off, but it works. Yeah, it's walk-in.
Yeah.
I can turn it on if you want.
No. Oh, it's cool in here already, by the way.
Yeah, it works. I was like, I don't want to spend the electricity on it if no one was using it.
Boy, that's nice. Yeah. Now, this is a great asset to have already within the building. And then they got a cage lockup. Usually this is for liquor, by the way.
Yeah.
This is what they put their liquor that's in stoves. So nobody's,
taking stuff.
Or anything valuable, because I'll tell you, when it comes to restaurants and bars, I really appreciate the people that run those type of businesses, because it's a hard business. Everybody's a thief, or can be. Everybody's a potential thief, from the bartender to everybody in there. Everybody wants to eat, and everybody in there wants to drink.
And then they spent some good money on the bathrooms over here. They're pretty nice.
Cool. So this is the ladies' room. It's got 2 toilets, private doors, 2 sinks. Yeah, it's perfect. Nothing to do here. Yeah, that's perfect. And that's about the ratio you want, because you're almost going to use more than anything. Looks great, man. Looks like it's got a sound system in here.
Yeah.
You can connect to. But cool, man. Let's just keep on pushing through, if that's okay. Yeah. Fix that. Just your door. And this stuff can be painted too, by the way. They can paint it and match it. This is a big one. Yeah.
So this is like a white box, like you were saying. This is all repainted throughout. I'm getting LEDs, lights changed out.
Right.
And then white, any messed up ceiling tile replacing, but.
Yeah, so when he's talking about a white box, that's what we described. You just want to deliver a clean white box. Let somebody else come in here, put in walls, tear out walls. That'll be on them. It's got its own bathroom. Okay, so potentially 1 meter for both of these?
Yeah, so right now it's just 1 meter for both, but they did have 2 meters. So if there's a qualified tenant that's credit worthy, I could demise the space, because they actually have their own HVAC units.
Oh, okay.
But I have to replace both of them. They have their own, each unit has their own heating and cooling.
Yeah, the only issue that can be with that, if you can rent it all together, can be an issue, is that this wall does not go all the way up. So it's not like a true firewall that goes up. There just means that this place closes, you got a thief working for you. They pop a tile, hop over, go in, steal something, come back in. Yeah, it just depends on the business. That shit can happen. So
yeah, if I was going to do that, there's only one exit door, so I was going to have to make like some sort of demised wall over here so that they can have access to the shared toilet and then shared back door.
I would advertise the place as a whole if you can, and you probably will. It looks like it's about.
The only thing we really have to do is just knock this wall down, and then you have a fully open space.
Yeah, because this looks like it's probably only about 1,000.
Yeah, 1,000 each. Yeah. It's like 1950 in total.
Yeah, you got the right idea, man.
Because that has like this back there. We're still working on this area, but just cleaning that all up back there, which was the kitchen. Demoed the vanity and all that stuff.
Right. And generally these are yellow because they're old, but you can replace these. I'd stick them on the wall and have the lights like you have here. And what these should always. This is a test. This basically turns the power off. And the lights aren't coming on. So there's a problem. When you push that, the lights should come on. Yeah. Oops.
That's broken now. I'll take you out this way because there's no entrance.
Okay. So yeah, coming around to the backside.
So this is very unique. When we go into this unit, I'm white boxing it as well, but there's no entrance from the front, so I'm adding a storefront to it. Just whoever was leasing it out beforehand didn't want people to have access to the front.
All right. So this is a good thing to understand quickly too, is your storm drains.
Yeah.
Just in case you do get a blockage, it's kind of good to know. Sometimes it's not always clear where you got to snake these strings. You'll find out quick enough.
This one I'm working on as well. It's almost done. But yeah, that door, that was sealed from the outside. So I'm adding those storefront doors to the front so you can exit from the front. And then that's all the power for the entire center.
Yeah,
and I was going to make this like a utility room. Like I kind of started, but I think I might just wait. I was thinking about just waiting until I have a tenant in here. Because my only concern was like having a tenant in here and then the customer comes over here with a kid and starts pulling these little dogs.
Yeah, what I worry about more, Rich, is somebody blows a breaker and they got to cut through their space to get to this. I think I would go ahead and just cut this off so that the access to this. Because
there's a double door here.
Yeah, maybe that'll work. But they may need that for this business too. But
so I was I know you have to be 3 feet away from the breakers. So I started framing this out. I just didn't know if I should continue to frame this out or not.
What he's talking about is you're not supposed to have a machine of any sort or a wall that is tighter than 3 feet. You got to have room for the thing to open up. Somebody does get hit, they can bounce back and be away from the panel. But yeah, the only thing I would say is you might have to box this in, but have an exterior door in the back. So it's like, this is the electricity room, or, you have to mark it so everybody knows. And then that way, when something goes wrong, you or whoever's got to come over here and check it. Ideally, maybe you have somebody that's semi-handy here.
This building, this room, whatever it was, it has a ton of power along. So I'm trying to get like a washateria or a laundromat to come in here because they have all the power already ready. They can just start hooking up their machines. Yeah. And there's not like a lot of that in this area. So I think it would be good for a tenant to come here and do some sort of laundry service.
Yeah. The only laundromats I've really ever had are ones that were in apartment buildings that I had, and they did make money, but they're a little bit of I don't know. They get, I don't know if I'd want one, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
I think that twice about that, only because they're going to need their own water meter because they use a shitload of water. And then the other thing is they're subject to crime a little bit. I used to have like armor around washers and dryers because they would come in and they would literally just flip the machine upside down and they beat the shit out of it to get, $10, $20 worth of quarters out of it.
Wow.
And when you go buy brand new LEDs like this, they cost significantly more than the fluorescent lights that have a ballast inside. And sometimes it's cheaper to even buy them brand new for fluorescent. And you just pull the ballast out, put in your LEDs, and you just wire it straight to at 110 because it costs less in the end. I don't know why.
Right.
But these look pretty good. So these, like I say, they just need a lens, and the ones that aren't LED, put LEDs. And you got a little bit of bowing, here. You can see how that kind of sags.
There's a lot. If you look over here, they have a ton of insulation on top of it.
Yeah, a lot of it is just from heat, and they don't even let you insulate like this anymore. So it's good that you.
Is there a way to tell if this is LED or not? You usually got to take off the cover.
Yeah, the bulb will be skinny.
Okay,
that's probably the main thing. And if obviously there's a transformer.
Yeah, you can kind of see them there. They do look kind of skinny. So maybe
they look skinny and they look bright. So this kind of feels like that might be the LEDs. But again, I wouldn't worry about it. They're bright enough. They look good either way.
Okay.
If they're all consistent, then like I say.
Yeah, I'll turn on the lights over here, and you can kind of see how bright it is.
Yeah, there's plenty of light here.
And it is pretty bright.
Yeah, this is fine. Look at the ceiling looks good. You got a little bit of, this is simple. You got to make sure, you can replace that. And if it happens again, you'll know where the leak is. You fix that. It does have a wall all the way up between here and the neighbors, so that's a good thing. This all looks great. The metal is clean and white. It's not rough. Look at the ventilation on this thing. I mean, I think they had this filled with desks, to be quite honest.
Yeah, because this was mostly medical at one point, so I don't know if it was like the dialysis or testing for. But I'm assuming they just had a ton of medical equipment in here for testing like blood or that type of deal.
Well, they had plenty of light, whoever they were. And here's another thing. This is great. Take a look up there. you see the 3 canisters. He's got 3-phase. He's got 3-phase in this building, and he's got a ton of power. He's got so much power here. So this is great. So in other words, he's got options that other people don't because of the amount of power that he has. That 3-phase, actually, maybe his air conditioners are 3-phase, which saves the customers money or whoever pays for that bill. The 3-phase is just much more efficient. I even have 3-phase on my home.
So this is kind of like shelf space.
So when he says shell, I think he just means that it's been unfinished.
There's no toilet in here. What I think what happened was the suite we were just in, and this one, it was one, and then they put up this wall, and then they just never used this one.
Right. But that wall does go all the way up to the top of that roof, so it is totally separate.
And it's weird. I don't understand why there's plumbing in this wall right here, and I was trying to figure out why. I don't understand why you would have that at the front. Because it looks like they just
doesn't
cut
go on
it
the
off.
ground. It just goes up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. See, it goes nowhere. See the pipe? It's nothing. That's where it ends. That's where it begins. I don't know what they fed through it, but I doubt it was water.
And then I saw this, and I had no idea what this is. I don't know if you're able to explain. I don't know if that's sewer or if that's just random clean out.
It might be a floor drain.
Floor drain? Okay.
Can pop it open and take a look.
Yeah, I've looked into it. There's no sewer back there.
No problem. And what's on the other side of this wall?
There's a tenant on this side.
Is this
a
a
nail
bathroom?
salon. I honestly have no idea. I think so, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, if you got a bathroom here, boom, you can pull it right over here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a bathroom right there.
Cool. Gosh, it probably was their bathroom originally. This building is in quite good condition. This is not a big, you know what I mean? There's a lot of aesthetic stuff, but it's.
I mean, I can show you walk to the front if you want to go down the side.
Yeah, let's walk around. And so here's the other thing. I don't see any water detention or any retention.
Yeah, it's completely asphalted.
Yeah, so it's cool. This is what's nice about buying an older building. You don't have a big pit for water, and you don't have some of those requirements.
So this was, there was a wall here, demoed the wall, I had them just repaint everything and then put this new trim around.
Right.
And this is where like a vape store is gonna go. They may ask me to rip down these walls, but they're on top, so they're, pretty easy to knock down.
So the only thing I'm thinking, and this is the bathroom that's next to the other one. Man, well, so this wall's over there. You can't really do a back-to-back bathroom because there's a fire exit door on this side, right?
Oh, wait, no, we're down like quite a ways.
Oh, are we down quite a ways from there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, well, anyways, what's on the next side of this?
That is a barbershop.
Okay. Well, you got to charge these guys a premium because they got the road and it's small. So, I would get the maximum out of these guys, or maybe make the lease short enough that you have that option to bump them up as they go.
Yeah.
This is a super location.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn on the air on this one, or up. So.
Yeah, and so on this, you can throw a little piece of crown. They banged in these walls after the fact, and so you get stuff like this. Easiest thing to do is just put a little piece of crown mold. Okay. And it just has to start there, go through here, and in there. Don't worry about doing the whole rest of it, because everything else has this metal edge here, which is what you want. It just starts to look funky when you get over here. And this you can fix. Oh, no, they got it. It's there. So just a little bit of, get a good ceiling guy to come in and fix it up.
Yeah. You want to see that. And I changed out all these outlets to white. They're all like that the yellow color.
Yeah.
So I just changed out all the plugs.
Yeah, he's saying he took everything that looked like this and made it like this. And you know what? Nobody even needs
Yeah, who's his cell phone
This
anymore?
cap and everybody's wireless now. Yeah, this looks really nice, man. You got a lot of good stuff to begin with.